All right. Gonna give that just a second to make sure it's running properly. Got all this audio and stuff working. I doubt I will have many people joining me on this late evening Sunday stream, but if anybody comes in, feel free to ask any questions and hang out with me as I sketch a portrait. I will warn you from the get-go here that I have drawn in Photoshop maybe twice in my entire life. Oh man, and I am drinking some delicious tea that is very hot. So I've drawn in Photoshop all of 2 times. So please forgive me for my very terrible drawing that I'm gonna do here. But I'm gonna try my best. Normally I work in Procreate. We'll see how this goes, I guess. Let's see. Demnock. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but welcome. Hello. Glad to have you here. So, if anybody has any like pencil brush recommendations for Photoshop, that would be awesome. I'm just using like a really basic square brush that I made, and maybe I'll just start with that and see how it goes. So yeah, normally I do this in Procreate. I'm working on my very large Cintiq tablet that I normally sculpt with. I am kind of liking it though, which makes sense. Let's see. Yeah, I am probably gonna be working this out for about an hour, just seeing how it goes, and Jay chillin', listening to some chill Nintendo music while I go. Alright, and I'm not too worried about proportions or anything like that, just kind of having fun. Oh, you know what? One thing that doesn't exist here is the kind of warp tool that's in Procreate. There is one in here, but it's not very good, in my opinion. You need to do your evening sketch as well. Well, perfect. Great timing. All right, let's see what we got going on. So normally when I start my sketches, I just kind of start with the outline. I feel like just kind of starting there to gauge proportions. You saw me make a couple marks here for top of the head, chin, just bottom of the frame here, you know. Wow, straightest line I've ever drawn. I will say it is quite a bit easier to draw straight lines using my tablet. I'm able to get my whole arm into the motion a lot more. When I'm on my iPad in Procreate, it's a little more difficult, but I am not someone that's like amazing at creating these beautiful flowy lines. That's more Abby's thing. So I'll see what I can do here, but no promises. And I apologize for going slow as well. I'm gonna be pretty slow. Oh, talking and drawing at the same time. Never an easy thing. All right, when I start doing the face, I'll typically start with like placing the eyebrows. And then like a little marker for maybe like the nose and lips for where those can exist. I am terrible at drawing lips. It's always a crapshoot of what's gonna happen. So we'll see. We'll see where we get. Let's see, what's my eraser set up to right now? That's actually fine. All right. And I don't know, so I have a couple hotkeys for like flipping my canvas. I don't really have a way where I could zoom in on this in a fantastic way without losing sight of my reference, so I don't know. I did not do a lot of pre-planning here before I jumped into Photoshop. I was like, well, I've used Photoshop for years. How hard can it be, right? Not a day that goes by where I don't have Photoshop open. just trying to figure out. Wow, I almost just tapped 2 fingers on my tablet in an attempt to like undo. A very strong habit that I have from Procreate. Alright, that eye is looking a little wonky. We'll come back to him later. No worries. We're gonna make lots of mistakes. We'll figure it out later. One thing that I've been practicing in general with my sketches is starting with a lot thinner line weight. So, or just like thinner or lighter in this case, because my pen that I'm using is set up for density rather than like taper. So I'm kind of drawing lightly here at first, and later in I'll go in with probably thicker lines as well as darker lines. I find that to be something that's helped my sketches quite a bit since I've started drawing a lot more. You could have the reference as a separate window and float it above the main document. That is a great idea. I have seen that before. I might be too lazy to do that though. I might do that here in a moment. I'll stick with what I have for now, but that's a great idea. All right, let's see. I kind of just went with the first thing that kind of started happening here with the shape. Whoop. It's actually quite difficult to draw over here on the left side of my screen. My microphone's in the way. All right. You know, I'm not hating the initial proportions that I have. A lot of the time I kind of just use the reference as like a general, you know, idea of what I'm going for, like direction of the face, general shape of the eye, just like little things that I'm seeing, like a, you know, 1, 2 sort of shape there, which you can see over here. But I'm not trying to like copy 1-to-1, and if it comes out like a little wonky or different, I just consider that part of its personality. A lot of it is just habits that I have developed over the couple years I've been drawing. All right, deep V. What do we got going on? Sure. This nose is not doing it. I'm so bad at drawing facial features. How does one get good at drawing facial features? Ah. Oh man. I won't lie. This actually isn't as bad as I thought it would be. I really thought that this was going to be a huge struggle for me using Photoshop, but it's not too bad. Not too different. I definitely prefer working in Procreate, but not bad, not bad. All right. Let's see, where'd that lasso at? A stream! Yes, a stream. Hello. Hello, friends. Welcome. Oh no. This is like snapping every which way. This is not what I want. Let's see. Normally I would use the where's the liquefy? I think that's it. Oh, dude, I hate this thing. I hate this thing so much. This is such a better tool in Procreate. It's just so much easier to use. But hey, what are you gonna do? I feel like Procreate has done, who makes Procreate? Is it Savage? I think is what it's called, Savage Interactive or something like that. They have done more for digital painting software in 1 year than than Photoshop or Adobe has done in 20. God, Photoshop has not changed that much in a very long time. And hello, Lord Backdoor, or old dude draws, as we like to say. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to see ya. Me want warp. I feel like the warp tool, I don't know if you guys agree with this, but I feel like the warp kind of idea is a little bit of a crutch. And I would like to not need to use it as much as I do. I feel like I use it quite a lot, but at the same time, it's like, it's part of the tool set of digital drawing. So I don't like feel bad about using it, but I do wish that I didn't need to use it as much, right? If that makes sense. Also, hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Let me know if that music gets too loud. Like this nose, I could easily just like push this around and play with it more, like change its shape, but no, I'm stuck. Oh, whoa. Calm down, Ben. Calm down. Man, this is quite difficult. I'm not feeling it. Been very busy with good things for a change. I like the sound of that. Oh, a new job. Congratulations. Yes, the warp function does remind me a lot of the move brush in ZBrush and sculpting software. That is like the most used tool that I use in sculpting. Let's see. Yeah, so it's a very, like, for me at least, it's a very natural tool to use. But if I were in a traditional medium, which I don't know, I feel like I actually, for the few times when I do whip out a real pen, I feel like I get more like granular control of the pen on the paper, of exact, like I can put the line exactly where I want it, right? But in digital, there's like that slight disconnect that kind of makes it tough to always get it like exactly where you want it. Maybe I'm not describing that the correct way. Something like that. And this is oh, how do line? Anyway, yeah, I have been wanting to do a live stream for a while. Abby is currently at the hospital working as well. And we've been wanting to kind of play around with doing some live streams here and there. And I figured I had some time tonight, so let's try doing a quick little test, see how it goes. I can stream from the iPad, I believe. But I'm not sure on the exact like setup I would have for that. I'd have to do a little extra research. But if anybody has any recommendations, like I have a tool, an app. I don't remember what it's called, but I just don't want like the audio to be really, really bad, because then it's like not enjoyable. I don't want it to be unwatchable, right? Azrek, welcome. Hello, hello. Good evening to you. Good evening. All right. I'm doing it. Give me that liquefy. Liquefy, baby. And then the other thing is this, the preview. Like, why is the... I have to look at the preview. Wait, what? You have to have, like, the... Is there a way to, like, not show the original drawing underneath for this tool? Anybody know what I mean? Like I don't want to be able to see my drawing, like, when I warp it. I thought you could turn that off. I thought that's what the preview option was, but that doesn't work. Why is this, like, so wobbly? It's, like, freaking out. I really want, it's just so hard to tell what I'm actually doing here. It's like, it looks insane. It's just, like, impossible to get a good idea of the changes that you're making. All right. Well, we're at a point where I don't really need the reference too much anymore. And I can, like, look at it every once in a while. Well, welcome, everybody. Another thing that I thought would be really fun to try, I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but it's called Magma Drawing, magma.com, or eggy.io. Either of the URLs, I think, works. But essentially, it's a tool where you can kind of, like, draw on one canvas in your browser with other people. It's super cool. I think that would be really fun to try on stream. Invite some of you to come join us and draw along. Lines are so influential, you prefer making shapes and dealing with proportions on those before any details. Yeah, absolutely. You know, you got to start with the basics. Like, I could sit here and finagle with my proportions a lot more and, like, really try to tailor this into something that I like. But I think that the liquefy tool is so frustrating to use that it's not worth my time. And one thing I want to avoid here is getting too, how do I press hotkeys? Oh my god. I'm so bad at this. I don't want the face to be too flat here on the front, because it's a focal point, right? You don't want your focal point to be, like, flat. I mean, that does create contrast in some ways, but not, like, with the back of the head here. And I really like this this kind of sharp angle that we got rocking right now. That's kind of cool. Something that I also find really helpful is, like, drawing some of the planes of the face every once in a while, just to, like, kind of see how things are working. Oh, hello. Come on back. Just to, like, see where some shapes are working over here. Man, drawing hard, huh? No worries. Have a good night, Lord Backdoor. No need to stay up on my account. Glad you could pop in, though. Have a good night. Oh, you were... No worries. Oh my gosh, why do I keep doing that? Whoa. My tablet. Guys, a sad thing has started happening recently. My Cintiq tablet, I think, is on its way out. It doesn't have like a ton. How can I even describe this? So like the pixels on my screen, and I've tried everything I can to try to correct it, but they're starting to go out. They're on their way out. I have like a rainbow kind of effect on my my screen. It kind of looks like it's wet all the time, but it's not. I had a video somewhat recently, probably not that recently, but someone was like, yo, why is your screen like so wet? What's going on? I was like, it's not, it's just dying. Why do I keep, there we go. I've tried like using the screen refresh thing to try and reinvigorate my pixels. It does not seem to work. I don't like how the eyes look like they're looking two different directions over here. I like this eye. I like that. I'm good with that one. This one, oh, why? Why eyes so hard, guys? I think that's a bit closer to what I was looking for. The lens of the eye, like, let's take a look over here. Something like that. Okay. All right, we'll figure it out. I am not used to working here in Photoshop with this tool set. Even my brush is like so different, but I'm actually kind of wanting to make a brush like this now in Procreate. It's a really simple square brush that I'm using, but normally I use taper on my pencil, but working with something that has opacity is kind of cool for the sketching phase. It's not how it would normally work though. But yeah, if you're sketching anything at home as well, I would love to see it. Share it however you can. Running out of excuses not to do your drawing. Hey, drawing's fun. Are you doing like a daily drawing kind of thing? That's what it sounds like. Yo, my Nintendo music got a lot more scary. This kind of sounds like Metroid now. Uh-oh. Well, that sucks. I think Photoshop just decided to stop working. Well, darn. Oh man, that sucks. Note to self, don't use the lasso tool in Photoshop, apparently. Do some gestures every day. I like that. That's a really smart kind of daily practice. I wish I did the same. All right, let me see if I can fix Photoshop. I mean, according to Task Manager, it's still working. It doesn't say it's frozen or anything. Sad. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to kill it. Goodbye, Photoshop. It was nice knowing you. Womp. Very sad. Oh no. Oh, yes. It actually recovered it. Wow. I'm very surprised that it did that. Genuinely very surprised. I feel like that never happens for Photoshop for me. Wow. Big ups. Big ups to Photoshop. You know what would be awesome though? If it just didn't crash all the time. That would be a lot cooler. Wow. Okay, do I dare risk trying the lasso tool again? I think not. I'm a little too afraid to do that now. Jeez, Photoshop. All right. Cool. Well, like I said, I need to get better at not relying on my digital tools like transform and such quite as often. I need to be better at drawing. So hey, let's try to not worry about it too much. I've been playing around with some different ideas with hair a bit more. This isn't probably a great example because our reference hair is so straight. But oh yeah, by the way, this reference here is down in the description below. If you are looking for something to draw and want to draw along at home, check it out. What was I saying? Yeah, I've been experimenting with some different stuff with hair. One thing I want to, or a couple of things I want to get better at, is using like kind of solid graphic shapes, like what I'm doing here and here a little more, as well as being really careful about designing the shapes in my hair. I'm not very good at it. Like I said, something I'm working on. But a lot of the time I feel like I'm just so, haphazard with my hair, and it ends up looking really boring and like symmetrical, kind of like what's happening here, right? That's like exactly what I just showed right there. So I want to get better at that kind of thing, just being more intentional about my shapes. But in general, during the sketching phase with hair, I feel like, at least for me, I don't know, I tend not to do like a ton with the hair during the sketching phase and leave it more for painting. I don't know though. Lines are just like a foreign concept to me. Feels like speaking a foreign language, but it is something I'm getting more accustomed to. Hello, Ruth Cookie. Welcome. Glad to have you. It's just me tonight. No Abby. Abby's at work right now, doing her thing at the hospital. So you're stuck with just me, the one that's terrible at lines. Oh no. Oh no. That's right. Alright. I just want to fill in like a little bit more texture here. I don't want to think about the hair too much right now. I want to get back up to this shoulder and try to fix what I got going on. Because it's a little wonky. More than a little. Yeah, absolutely. Got Blade. In most of our videos, we have the reference link. The only time we don't is if we cannot find it. A lot of the time, though, we can. Pinterest is notoriously terrible with references, like crediting the original source. In this case, I just went ahead and linked to the person's Pinterest. Something McCormick, I can't remember off the top of my head. Something like that. All right, trying to add some three-dimensionality to that shoulder, but it's kind of looking really like slumped down. Maybe it is. Maybe it is really slumped down. When in doubt, draw over it. I got like the basic idea down. I think it's just the distance here. If I raise it up a little and make it larger, feels like I'm gonna use my mouse for this. Actually, feels just weird right now. Wah. What is the easiest skill you have found to translate from your 3D work to 2D? And what do you find the most difficult? That's a good question. Most difficult, 100%, lines. Lines are completely, I say this in a lot of our Drawbli videos, but lines are like, holy moly, lines are something. And I don't know what that something is, but I'm trying. I'm trying. Yeah, lines are definitely the most difficult. And then the easiest. I don't know about the easiest, but I would say like in general, well, probably a couple of different things, but in general, my knowledge of like basic proportions, I think, has helped me a lot with obviously like just making a face look relatively correct proportionally. Like if you take a look at this face, like the eyes are probably too high, and I could stand to like move the chin and mouth up quite a bit. Like this whole section is a little large, but it gives it like a little character. Sure, it's whatever. I think a lot of that has been really helpful for me. I know it's something that Abby struggles with on occasion, or maybe a little more than I do. And then maybe the other thing is like some painting techniques I have from 3D have translated pretty well. So if I'm like painting some eyes, I've painted a million eyes in 3D with a lot of different effects. So I'm pretty confident when it comes to like, and I'm not painting the eye right now, I'm just like drawing the eye. But when I do paint eyes, like that's one area where Abby's like, well, how do you know to put that there? I'm like, I know how eyes do. I know how eyes work. Not a good example. But maybe if I decide to polish this up a little more. Where does Poople at? But yeah, I'd say probably those few things. I think in general, I think a lot of people are always surprised, like no matter how much like I warn them where I'm like, no, really, I didn't draw like really at all before I started doing this. It's like, but like, it's pretty much the same thing, isn't it? I'm like, no, it's not. They're very different. At least for me, they're very different. I've seen people go from 2D to 3D, you know, a lot faster. I haven't seen many people go from 3D to 2D super fast. I think there's a lot more understanding that needs to happen in 2D, right? Like you can, in 3D, understand like how to set up your lights and stuff and understand how lighting works, but you don't have to like sit there and put the light like, oh, we have a plane of the face facing, you know, up, so the light source is shining on that plane, so we need to paint light on that plane. Like you don't have to do that in 3D. Like the software is going to do it for you. So you can understand structure and form in 3D, but like not understand how to apply the like straight up lighting on top of that. This I don't like that. Why'd I do that? I don't know, it's just like I don't know, there's not much I can compare it to. Sometimes I compare it to like exercise or something similar. Or like playing an instrument. It's like learning a new instrument in some ways. But it's just its own thing. It'd be tough. But I really like doing it. I really enjoy drawing a lot. Very fun. I'll have to pick something else up after drawing. No, I think drawing's gonna be a long one. Quite a long bit of practice. Alright, somebody give me some tips on lips. How do I lips better, guys? I know, specifically in terms of drawing, right now, typically what I do is I'll do like what I have right now and leave it roughly in this state. And kind of the same thing for like the nose. I typically keep them, I feel like less is more in the drawing phase, and maybe some of you agree or disagree, but whenever I feel like it's really easy to overdraw in those areas. So instead, I leave out more, and then when I go to paint, I can get in and start, you know, adding a lot more information there. I feel like it's a bit easier in the painting phase to tackle those areas. All right, let me try. Whoop. Close your eyes, don't look. see. Excellent job, Ben, at ruining all your hard work. No. The warp tool's so bad here. It'd be so much easier to do in Procreate. Isn't there a way? Ah, I found it. I use Photoshop all the time, but never for drawing. Now how do I put it back? Okay. Can like kind of hold shift. Yeah, I would say try it for anybody who, you know, is curious about switching mediums and learning another. I think there's a lot to explore. I don't like this. I don't like this. You know, I wasn't planning on doing like a ton of painting to this. I was gonna keep it like relatively minimal, but I don't know. Maybe maybe we can play around with it. I don't actually know what button creates a new layer. I only know the hotkeys. Okay. Gonna save over that. Could not save because that's open. Oh, we'll close it. Let's try again. I'm saving because I'm about to use the little dreaded lasso tool, which caused Photoshop to crash last time. Yeah, I really enjoy drawing from life. I have not done it nearly as much as I need to, and it's probably something I'll explore more as I get better. But I do like, in some ways I feel like when I'm working on a 2D image, there's like a slight stigma about keeping closer to the reference. I tend to use things a bit more as inspiration, like lighting, direction of the face, shapes that I can spot in the hair, etc. But when you're working from life, I feel like that's probably like quite a bit less of a thing. Just because nobody can see your reference. Not a huge deal. All right. Let's see. We do have clipping masks. Rejoice. Clipping masks be here. Thank goodness. All right. What do I want to do here? Just a couple clipping masks. I'm gonna keep this pretty chill. One thing I do a lot that I am probably gonna do here as well is I'll use opacity a lot for just figuring out like basics. I'm just gonna start with this like weird blue color. Off-white blue. We'll come back. Play with that more. I'm also going to chop off the bottom of this. If you're not using clipping masks, get on it, guys. Clipping masks are amazing. I swear, Photoshop makes everything 100 times more difficult than it needs to be. Okay. Let's see. Let's go. Control U. There we go. There it is. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Trying to accurately draw a curve that's in front of you. Yeah. Yeah, that's very difficult. I think it's all very difficult. All right. Work a little bit in layers here. Do a basic. Well, you know what? Actually, I'll just use my underpaint as my skin tone, and I'll adjust that here in a moment. Let's do just my hair. Sure. Typically, I like to use selections for all this stuff. This is just gonna be easier to do this, though, I feel like, with Photoshop's terrible selection tools. How is Procreate just that much better? Explain this to me. They have so much. I mean, Adobe has infinite money. If they're not careful, everybody's gonna. I feel like Photoshop is in a few ways like on its way out. Like I think it's still got quite a bit of life in it, but Photoshop's like name and brand are so ubiquitous. Like it's kind of hard to disassociate Photoshop from the industry. We'll change this hair color too. But I mean, that's what happens. Like, I mean, like, no offense to the ZBrush team, but like, Blender's catching up. Blender's doing some stuff, and if they're not careful, another competitor will come around and do even more than what they have, just because they're stuck in their ways about so many things. Alright, I think most of that's going to get cropped out anyway. I wasn't planning on doing like too much with paint. Kind of keep this more of like color sketch kind of deal. Let me make sure I still have time. I do. Okay. Alright, time for my secret technique, as Abby calls it. The Gaussian blur, the fade out, the opacity, all of it. Top secret stuff. Oh, Photoshop is extremely over bloated. Are you kidding me? It is a mess. it's just used by so many different professions, right? Like it's used by everyone for everything. And it's much better. Like that's why we have Procreate coming around, is this like specialized tool. Oh, I need to move this. There we go. That's able to like take the industry by storm. Not only it being like, you know, obviously on iPad and being a mobile tool, but also the fact that, you know, it's highly like specialized to digital painting. Well, I'm actually a little afraid for Procreate. They kind of backed off on this, which I'm really glad, but they came out with like this 3D painting module for Procreate, and I was like, whoa, guys, what the are you doing? Calm down. When like, please do not bloat my software. I love this tool so much. Please do not ruin it. And they haven't developed on that too much more, which I'm kind of glad, in all honesty. Like, if they're gonna do that, just make a separate app, make a separate tool for that. Like, you can still use Procreate's base to like build on for that tool, but like don't put it by default in Procreate, right? At least that's my opinion. All right. I haven't really used the smudge brush for painting in here. I know it doesn't work the same. Yeah, it's very strange. Very different. Not exactly what I was looking for. Well, that's okay. I'll keep playing with it. Let's get a little... Let's see... Gaussian, please. At least when I start painting skin, I start with like, I think it's wrong to go like too hard initially. I think it's best to just like start slow, be pretty subtle with what you're trying to do. Which is why I fade pretty much all that out. Although I kind of like some of the like weird blocky texture that I get from this brush. It's kind of cool. Krita instead of Photoshop. Yeah, you know, I'll be honest, I've heard a lot of good things about Krita. How do you like it? And if I'm not mistaken, Krita's open source, right? Yeah, I've used Krita, I think, like once, maybe, at most. Ooh, Coral Painter. Now that is one I have not tried. Tell me about Coral Painter. What do you like about it? Because if, you know, I would not mind trying out a few different tools. See if I can find one that I like a little more than Photoshop. Because I feel like Photoshop is just like, it feels, clunky. It feels clunky. I think that's the best way to describe it. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people that use Clip Studio. It seems really popular with like manga artists and that sort of thing. I'm not sure if it's like just good for that. I would assume it's probably a great all-around tool though, if I had to guess. These arms are a lot darker than I have them. I think the skin tone in general is a lot darker than what I have. Luckily, I did that all on its own layer, so that should be pretty easy to adjust. Okay. No more blurring. Let's do this guy. No. There we go. Alright, let's go darker. A lot more saturated and more towards red. And then adjust that. Now we got like a slider where we can kind of darken everything. I actually think I'll just kind of hand paint this on its own thing. Okay, cool. All right. Well, I can't do too much more on this because I'm actually almost out of time. Somebody's got to start some dinner around here. But yeah, let me know your recommendations if you guys have any other painting apps that you like to use. I'd love to check out some more. I feel like if I did paint a lot more though in Photoshop, I would probably get used to all its quirks. I would wish that they didn't exist, but I would get used to them. So maybe they're not, they're not too terrible. All right. Let's see. Fill in some quick ground. She has quite dark eyes, but I kind of, well, I don't know. Maybe they're pretty light. Kind of like that, that basic effect there. That's kind of cool. And I'll just do like a tiny bit of shading here. Alright, I could do a lot more with this, but it's kind of fun and not in a horrible place for a sketch, for a quick live stream test. First one. Yeah, not too bad, not too shabby. Here. Could do a little, create a group, merge it all into a layer. Let's see. Do a quick little adjustment here, adjustment there. Maybe a little bit of that, a little brightening up. Just a tiny bit. Oh, you know what? I didn't even play with my line color at all, but that's okay. We are out of time here. Yeah, I feel like that's how it goes, where you know, a new tool gets introduced, and then ZBrush does the exact same thing. It's like new tool, then it kind of gets forgotten about, and then they invent like a new way to do the exact same thing. Or in some ways, they're just like constantly creating like new ways to do the same thing that are slightly different. Not necessarily like better, faster, or more optimized, but like more so just like different, right? It's just a different way to do it. And I feel like that is kind of an unhealthy way to like continue to develop a tool. I feel like it's just circular. Nothing really gets better. Nothing really improves. Just stays the same. But yeah. Anyway, I am out of time here. So I'm going to have to bounce, but thanks for coming and hanging out on this first little stream here on the Drawbli channel. Maybe we'll do some more of these in the future, and when Abby's not working, we can get her on here too to come hang out and do some sketching or some painting. She's much better than I am at lines, so that would probably be a good idea. But again, thanks for coming and hanging out. I'll check out some of those softwares that you guys were mentioning, and I will see you next time. All right. Have a good night, guys. Bye.